G'day nerds. So in this video we're going to look at how to create a scatter plot, which is what a lot of people call a line graph when they're drawing, although a line graph joins the dots. Scatter plot has the line of best fit. So we're going to draw a scatter plot using continuous data, which we have right here. It's a pretty common one for this example, particularly for science students or science teachers. We have 3 columns. One being seedling number, i.e. that's our trial. We have 12 trials. We have a different range of fertilizer percents, and we have the height at 3 weeks. So what we're looking at here is we're looking at a seedling height at 3 weeks based on the independent variable of different percentages of fertilizer. So you could assume that that's the recommended dosage of fertilizer. Some have 0, there would be our controls, and then some have different grades up to 100%. Now, one important thing that you'll notice it seems to upset a lot of people, is that our amounts are not in increasing order, and they don't need to be. So one of the things we can do about that is we can sort the data, which is interesting. There's 2 ways to do this. First off, we highlight all of just the data we want, and we go up here to data, sort range, and we go column C because we want to organize it by percentage of fertilizer because that makes some of our brains happy. A to Z, in other words, ascending all the way down, and we can see that it happens. All of them have been shuffled together based on this column, and we can see that here and here, right? So it goes 1, 12, 2, 5, and blah, blah. The other way to do it is to just highlight the whole chart, sort range, and click on data has a header row, and now we know which one we want to sort it by. I want to sort it by seedling number because I don't mind that they're not in increasing order because we're just doing a graph of it. There we go, and we're back to that. So we want to make a chart or a scatter plot. What we want is we don't need this information here in our graph. This information here gets in the way. It's extra stuff. So what we want is we want this. So we highlight the data we want. We go to insert and chart. And it's going to give us some options. Line chart is usually the first one it gives you. I don't want that. I want a scatter chart. All right. And now we can see that it's given us a suggested title. Suggested title is very, very good. And that's based on, just move over here, our columns. We can see that our independent variable, as is always the case, is on the x-axis, and our dependent variable, as is always the case, is on the y-axis. And we've got a graph here, but let's customize it a little bit. Let's change some stuff up. So we're happy with this. Okay, our series for the x-axis and the y-axis are correct. We're happy with that. We can switch those if we want, and then it looks nonsense, so we'll undo that. But just to let you know that that button's there. Use row 2, that's this row here, as headers. Use column C as labels, and that means that's the one that's running up here. So we're running down there. Now you don't have to use those. If we get rid of those, we can see that it gets a bit nonsense again, and it tries to put the 2 bits of information in the table. So let's get rid of that. We'll come back to there. Then one of the things we can do is we can customize it. So chart style, we can pick the color of it, right? That's fine. I'm happy with that, but let's make it a bit darker, right? That's the font, and we can do all that sort of stuff. What I want, because it's the thing that we're all interested in, so the section we need to get our trend line in is to go over here to series, and we go down to where it says trend line, and we click on that. And we can see it appears there. Now, we can then play with it a little bit. We can click show R squared, which tells us basically how well it's correlated. That's probably a bit more advanced. We can change the style. We can also turn it into an exponential graph. We can see that the linear line fits best here. And we can label it if we want. We can label it with the equation. We don't want to do that. Whoop. And see here we have our legend at the same time. So, the one other thing I'll show you how to do is move to own sheet. This gives us a much bigger and broader view of our charts, so it's worthwhile looking at. Anyway, yeah, that's how to make a scatter plot or a scatter chart in Google Sheets using continuous or non-discrete data. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions, put them in the comments below and we'll get back to you as soon as we can. Bye now.